Well, if the internet couldn't get any weirder, what am I saying? It always gets weirder, and it just seems to get weirder every time. So in this video, I decided to take a look at something called Wikihow articles. Now, if you don't know what Wikihow articles are, they're simply articles that tell you how to do stuff. Now, some of them are like how to tie a tie, how to take care of a puppy, I guess. But some of them are just bizarre and weird. Yeah. So I went through and I found some couple of the weird ones. There were pages of just really bizarre ones, but I picked out some of my favorites. And obviously one of the big movies that have come out in the past couple of years has been Frozen. So someone decided to create a Wikihow on how to pretend you have ice powers. Because apparently a lot of people have been searching that, and a lot have, because about 117,000 have been looking for how to have ice powers. The description says, after watching Frozen, many people want to be like Elsa and have her ice powers. Fortunately, you can actually have these powers even if you weren't born with them. It just takes a lot of practice and work and education. It's a movie, an animated movie, so it's not real. Step one is doing your research. So go find a book at your local library, go to the store and pick up How to Have Ice Powers for Dummies. How do you research having ice powers? Learn about ice and snow, which I feel like we're kind of going way far back. Basics, like I know about ice and snow. Frozen water. Every person who has ice powers has to know about the ice and snow and winter time. Learn about how snow is formed, what snow crystals look like, and weather patterns in various parts of the world, especially where you live. Now, if you have ice powers, it shouldn't matter where you live as far as weather, but I feel like this again goes way back to the basics. I'm looking to have ice powers. I don't need to learn all the stuff that I learned in middle school. Step number 2, read stories about winter magic. Start with The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, as this is what Frozen is based off of. I didn't know that, so see? You're learning something with Wikihow. We need to keep in mind, this is based off of a child's movie and apparently a children's book. I don't see a lot of adults going on this, at least I hope not, with the intention of like actually doing it. They may like give it to their kid because their kid like saw Frozen want ice powers. But I hope that a bunch of adults aren't going on here and going,
I wonder if I can get how I get magical frozen ice powers. Oh, a Wikihow, this will do it.
This Wikihow has to be sponsored by Disney. Watch movies and TV shows where people have ice powers. How many movies are there really with people with frozen powers? This is totally like Disney is definitely behind this Wikihow, because there would be no way that you just was at Wikihow was like, I want to write an article about how to have frozen powers. Add a little bit of white in your hair. So apparently you dye your hair white or part of your hair white, you will have ice powers. Every elderly person with white hair has the ability to freeze things with their super secret powers. And I love how it says, although bleaching your whole head is a viable option. So is there like a certain like amount of bleaching that I have to do? Like if you only bleach like a certain part of your hair, like frost tips, then you only get a little bit of powers. But if you just go the whole thing, you will have unlimited powers. It is not necessarily and can easily go wrong. Instead, add a few white streaks or highlights here and there, or you can just get some white hair extensions so you don't damage your hair. I would just love to meet the person that actually believes this to be real, like an adult, not a kid, because a kid probably won't get their hair completely beat. But I want to meet the person who saw this Wikihow and was like, yep, sign me up, that's exactly what I want. Wear this sort of gear often. Dress according to the event and try to wear more dresses at home so you don't have to conceal your true ways. Just wearing a dress, the only gear you need to have ice powers. Pretend to be practicing your powers. Just maybe hold your hand straight out at the faucet or cup of water or something when you know someone's about to walk in. Pretend to concentrate on what you're freezing. At first, pretend that you don't see the person there and then say something like, it won't work, or why can't I freeze this? And then stare at this person in a shocked and slightly alarmed expression. Who would fall for that? Honestly, if you have just 3 brain cells, you could clearly figure out that your friend is BSing you. Dip your hands into a cup of freezing cold water or under cold water. If you do this step, when someone grabs your hand, it'll be cold and they'll think that you just used your freezing ice power and basically suffer through hypothermia so that you can get your friend to maybe believe that you actually have ice powers. The final step, I don't really get. Practice your singing. And the picture here, this guy looks so annoyed. They look like they're in a movie theater, to be completely honest with you. It says, but it also says that you have to like find the happy medium between singing too much or people will think you're a lunatic. Another one I found is how to act like you're possessed, because everyone wants to act like you're possessed, I guess. Exhibiting sudden personality changes. Become withdrawn, quiet, and defensive. So essentially be moody and make everyone believe that there's something wrong with you. Now, believe it or not, this one actually has 171,000 people who have actually viewed it and gone through it. And not like I'm doing, not like to make a joke of it, but actually believing it. Show a lack of interest in all of your hobbies. So essentially get rid of all your friends and pretend that you're just a loner who wants to freak out. Develop sudden and violent verbal outbursts. This picture right here is intense because he looks like he's about to snap in half with this guy in his face. This isn't just like how to like pull a little quick prank on your friends. This is an entire like personality lifestyle change. And this next picture, I mean, now it's getting kind of to that point where it's not funny anymore, it's just creepy. Keep a blank and exhausted look on your face. Now we're starting to get into the area where, okay, people, you may get a visit from the police. At this point, all your friends are pretty much avoiding you and have written you off, and now you have achieved a status that I think may have gone beyond what you intentionally wanted. Leave incriminating books and images lying around. Just leaving like books like How to Be Possessed for Dummies, and what books are there that tell you how to be possessed? Like, where do you pick those up? Oh, just the Amazon section, you know, there's a How to Be Possessed Amazon section that's really great. Do unnerving things in public, because what everyone loves to do is unnerving things in public. If you've made it to this point of this little like list, kudos to you. If you haven't achieved what making people believe you're possessed, you're definitely going to end up in a like all cushioned jail cell in a straitjacket. Another way they say you can do it is by waking up screaming. At this point, I can't imagine having to live with someone who pretends to wake up screaming. If you're doing these kind of things, then you may need to go see a professional. If you thought that one was the weirdest, there are tons more, and this has to be one of the most random ones I found. How to calculate pi by throwing frozen hot dogs. Here's the thing. It's been viewed 846,285 times. Over 800,000 people saw this and actually voted it was accurate and very helpful. Another one is how to cast spells. And again, this one has over 800,000 people that viewed it. Understand, put yourself before any spell. So essentially what it wants you to do is to cleanse your body of spells. And one of the ways it says do that is by taking a bath. I think this is a general good rule for anyone. I think everyone should take a bath. Also, I'd like to point out that whoever wrote this must be from Great Britain, because there's an E on the end of bath, and it's making a little more sense now. Set up a circle or altar. Now, can you just imagine your parents just walking into your room and seeing you set like candles and like salt, and you're just like doing spells, or your like roommate walks in and is like, what the hell are you doing? And what do the spells exactly do, and how do you know they work? The final one that I want to cover of the Wikkihow articles is exercise your way to a great badonkadonk. So obviously which if you don't know what that means or is, look up Kim Kardashian, how to basically have a large butt, which I mean, butts in the past couple of years have been really popular. Or just look on Instagram. There are tons of them on the Instagram Explore page. But the one step that I really thought was funny is include your gates everywhere. Think about how you engage your glutes in any activity you're doing. For example, if you're running on a treadmill, do it at an incline to better engage your ankles, legs, and most importantly your glutes. Because what everyone in a gym is looking at is your glutes while they're lifting all this weight or running themselves. Little tidbit of information, no one's looking at you in the gym. Everyone's too focused on their stuff to be caring about what you're doing. Also, it says to get slightly like tighter jeans so that everyone can see it, which I guess works, but if they're already smaller in size, they're going to be smaller in length. Your jeans are literally going to come up to your calves. And of course, the final step, after you've gone through all the hard work and made everyone look at your butt in the airport, at the gym, in class, is to just dance. So just dance wherever you can. So Wikkihow is, to me, is just one of those places that you can go for any crazy idea that pops into your head. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. If you want to watch more from me, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to follow me on any of my social media or see more of the stuff I posted behind the scenes and stuff, that'll all be in the description below. In the comments, tell me what kind of weird Wikihow's you guys have run through, or if you've used any of them. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.